Dun, dun, let's go. Let's go. I'm humming and singing to myself to see if we are up. And we are up. Wonderful. Let's see how fast it takes for social media to join the party. Let's see. Let's see. Welcome, noble patriots. There we go. Kathy, you're here. Good. Mr. Lang, Lake Mary. Welcome, sir. Charmin, hello. Miss Kathy, hello. Minnesota, Bridget, hi there. Shelby, North Carolina, Diane. Adrian from Queens. Alabama, Denise, hello. Patty Joe from Iowa. Rita, hello. Let's see. Hello, Tracy and Alexis from Pennsylvania. Red Lion, PA. Welcome. Lowell, Michigan, Mary. Drita from Georgetown. Excellent. Deanna's from Illinois. Shelby Township, Michigan, David. NorCal, Aaron. Hello, Frankie. Texas, Charlie. Houston, Elizabeth. Town, Chicago. I love you guys' personal names for your cities and states that are ultra liberal and what you call your places. Rosemary and Lubbock. Hey, by the way, I heard the Texas some of the Qs are saying that the Texas governor, whatever his name is, should be called for sedition and treason. Just so you know, Kent, the Lone Star State, Texas. Billy from Boston. Anita, Clearwater, hello. Indiana, Jennifer. Holly Pond, Alabama, Jean. Elmira, New York. Thomas, hello. I know Elmira well. Christina from Orlando, as always. Welcome. Pennsylvania, Carolyn. Pocono Mountains, Pennsylvania. The Pocono Mountains, Alyssa, are beautiful. They are. Bumblebee tuna. Hey from Earth, Matt. Hello. Let's see. Louisville, Margie. I love your comments and your call outs. These are fantastic. It's Friday night. It's time to party. Yeah, Abbott. Abbott like fell off the deep end. Texas, come on. Texas is red. Let's be realistic. Alberta, Canada, Kayla. Hello. Los Angeles. Quita. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Quita, I'm assuming. But North County, New York, Mandy. Excellent. St. Louis, Kara. Christina, NorCal. A lot of Cali tonight. A lot of Cali. Betty Jean in Minnesota. Minnesota. You got to say it with like the Sota, right? Port Huron, Michigan, Lisa. And Louisiana, Leah. Hello there. Wonderful. Prescott, Arizona, Julia. Hi, Allegra. Buffalo, New York, New Jersey, and Georgia. Perth, Western Australia, Steve. Hello. Oh, we load the viewers up now. We got to give the news. We got to give what's really going on in the world, okay? Not what the mainstream media trash says. But we're going to start off in my wheelhouse tonight. My wheelhouse is fixing this healthcare system that's a joke and a train wreck. Today may be one of the most amazing days, possibly, I don't know for sure, but possibly one of the most amazing days in healthcare going forward, okay? So, Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network, your source for health, freedom, and knowledge. Yes, and by the way, I had a whole bunch of ads running, and Facebook yanked them down last night, which was fantastic. I saw stats go way down. The other part is I didn't post this today, but my buddy sent over to me statistics of Facebook ads for President Trump versus Facebook ads for Biden. Based on those stats, President Trump is not losing this election, just so you know. I see more Australia, Queensland, Australia. Fantastic. All right, let me take you right into it because we're going to start off with an interesting video that some of you may have seen, may have not seen. Let's dive in because we're talking about prescription medications and drug prices. Let's rock and roll. Let's go to the president.
The executive order I'm signing this afternoon will allow states, wholesalers, and pharmacies to do something other politicians have promised for decades and decades, but never done. They never delivered. We will finally allow the safe and legal importation of prescription drugs from Canada and other countries where the price for the identical drug is incredibly lower. It's a difference like you wouldn't believe. 70%, 80%, 90%, 30%.
So what is he saying there? Interesting, right? So let me say, there's a couple things I got to say about this because, and I'm going to show you some other links to some stuff. Now, this is something I have battled for a long period of time being in healthcare. Right now, again, very upfront, I am not a fan of medications just because I understand how the body works in bypassing systems. However, there is a place there's a place for natural health that I sit in. There's a place for emergency medicine that I don't sit in, right? The problem is not emergency medicine. The problem is not natural health care. The problem is this middle area here, right? Middle area. This is this middle area where you have a problem, you go to your medical doctor, and they just pump out prescription drugs all day long, right? And then you have people who are on 2 and then 3 and then 4, 5 and then 6, 7. And I've had people literally come in with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, front and back of medications. Okay. So this is a gigantic problem. I am anti-middle medicine world. I am pro-emergency, pro what I do, natural health. I am anti-middle ground, right? Now, that's not to say that there isn't a place for middle ground, right? There could be a place. There could be a place for someone to be on a blood pressure medication for the time being and then be able to come off of it. Again, and I'm not like treasonous against my own industry. I'm just explaining to you that this is how it works. Now, let me take you through a couple trains of thought because this gets very big in many different roads. First of all, I have to explain that we have a group of people that are already bashing the president. I saw it both on posts as well as on Twitter and everything else. And everyone's saying, oh my gosh, he's not getting rid of pharma altogether. He's not getting rid of it. And then the other group is, why didn't he take out vaccines? Why didn't he destroy? We're giving them $2 billion to Pfizer for vaccines. You guys need to do the give and take. All right. There's a give and take in medicine. Yes. Did they give $2 billion to Pfizer vaccine? Now, President Trump didn't give $2 billion. Congress and others work in this. It wasn't him giving him a check, first of all. Second of all, and I think I explained this last night or the night before, that this is the other problem. And I don't want to chastise you. My job is not to preach at you tonight. My job is, so if I sound like I'm coming at you, I'm really just coming at the world, okay? I'm going to say you guys, but don't take it that way. What's going to happen? So what people are going to do is they don't see the big picture, right? How many billions of dollars do we have in pharmaceutical sales? Billions of dollars. Throughout, if you name out every single pharmaceutical company, whether small or big, there's billions upon billions of dollars, okay? If it's freezing up, guys, it's not on my end. It's on Facebook and it's on social media. And so switch over to YouTube, switch over to Periscope, switch back and forth. The website's being built right now. It just it takes some time. It is what it is. Okay, now this is what I need you to understand. You have billions of dollars in pharmaceutical sales right now. You can't shut it down. Why can't you shut it down? Well, not overnight you can. Why? Because you have families that depend on an economy. You have scientists making pharmaceutical drugs. You have scientists making vaccines. You have scientists making psychiatric drugs. You have salespeople who are selling these things. You have marketing people who are marketing these things. Okay. Now, do I like it? No, I don't like it. But it happens. It is what it is. You can't shut everything down overnight and then destroy an entire economy while you're doing that. It doesn't work that way. You you can't shut down pharmaceuticals are potentially the number one number one industry on the planet potentially. You think you're just going to shut that down and everything's going to be a-okay? No, you have to have choice, okay? So take a step back, relax. There's a whole plan here, okay? And there are people out there, guess what? We were given free will, all right? We were giving free will to, if you want to go drink a diet soda, right? If you want to, guys, if there's a problem on the feed, it's not on my end. It's on social media's end, and there's not a whole lot I can do about that because my end is working. So my apologies if that's the case, but it is what it is. We're clean on this end. It's all the social media stream, okay? But you have to give it time, and there's free will. If someone wants to drink a aspartame ridden Mountain Dew diet this, diet that, whatever, guess what? They're allowed to do that. That's free will. You don't get to tell people what they do, what they don't do. It doesn't work like that. If someone wants to take a statin like a Lipitor for their cholesterol because they believe what the doctor said about cholesterol, guess what? They have every single right to take that. You don't get to bypass people's free will. And you cannot shut it down and then have a bunch of families starving who are tied to the pharmaceutical industry. Because guess what? 99% of the people in this industry are not bad people. They're just doing a job. They do what they believe is right. They do what they believe is correct. So the president doesn't get to just shut stuff down, just like the vaccine world, right? You don't get to just shut that down. That will take years, possibly decades, to transition out of that. That is not going to just happen overnight unless there's some bolt out of the sky and God just resets everything, and then that's God. He's allowed to do whatever he wants to do, he or she, right? That's how that works. Now, on the other thing is, the president said something regarding he's the first president. So everyone's like, why isn't he doing such and such? He's not doing it fast enough. Do you realize that every single president before this that we know of said, we're going to take care of drug prices. We're going to get drug prices down. And guess what? Every single one of them lied to you and did not do that, right? This is the first president that's actually ever taken action on doing something with the medication and drug prices. Let me inform you about something. The number one, not number two, not number three, not number five, the number one cause for bankruptcy of American families is medical costs. Number one. Again, not number two, not number three, not number 10. Number one. 66.5% of American bankruptcies are due to medical costs for diseases, etc., anything that happens medical, right? 66.5% every single year. That's insane. 530,000 families go bankrupt every single year because of medical bills, because they can't pay for the insane costs. Why are there insane costs? Well, guess what? Welcome to lobbying. Welcome to pharmaceutical lobbyists in Congress, right? Now, he's allowing to buy generic drugs now across the border, across the line. Because guess what? People are allowed to have a free market. Now, I said something about subsidizing Canadians' healthcare. Yeah, we're losing a ton of money. A ton of money. So, if you can get one drug, the same drug in America as you can get in Canada, and if you go to Canada, but we weren't allowed to go to Canada, we weren't allowed to do that, right? Because that broke the rules. It was a law. And Canada sells that drug for $1 versus America sells that same exact medication for $7 or $10 or $20. That's called criminal. And then the politicians not only did that, but then they made rules and laws to where we couldn't change it, and they wouldn't change it because guess what? Who was making all the money off of that? So if you have a drug that costs $1 somewhere else, but you're not allowed access to it, that same drug is charged here, say $20. $19 a difference in cost. Where does that $19 go to? Let's see. Profit margin, just more profit for pharmaceutical. And then, guess what? Money, the pharmaceutical companies take money, they take their millions of dollars and they push it towards campaigns and politicians in lobbying dollars. This money was all built in to basically make politicians and lobbyists a lot of money while pharma walked to the bank every single day with their deposits. This is how it worked. So, how huge is it that what he did today? Potentially, he's going to cut some potentially anywhere from 30+% to upwards of 90% of drug costs. Do you realize what that does to the average American's pocketbook? Do you understand? Remember, and keep in mind, he does know how to play politics. He knows how to gain votes, by the way. You do realize the biggest base for President Trump is the baby boomer base. I mean, anyone from say 50 or 60 older, they're not liberals, I can tell you that much right there, right? So all of my family, right? The baby boomers of my family, they aren't liberals. They're all conservative. I can guarantee you, I could name every single one of my older family members, and guess what? I can name out of all of them, every single one of them, 100% are voting President Trump this come election. I guarantee you they are. It's not well, maybe this family member, maybe that. No. They all are. I can tell you the entire family is voting it across the board. Right? So his base is the one who is getting screwed on pharmaceutical drugs. Now, do I want them on a lot of drugs? No, I don't. But over time, I can slowly pull those people over to my side. Keep in mind, even baby boomers at this point are starting to question the drug system, right? But what he's doing is he's bringing those costs down. For one, they won't screw with politics anymore. We'll get lobbyists out of there, right? That's the big thing. And then keep in mind, when you put money back into the person's pocket, they can also build the economy in other places. So this is gigantic. It brings money back to America, right? And on top of that, what happens when people start having choices in healthcare? Now, that also means healthcare costs will start going down. Big time, because a lot of money is in the healthcare. What if all of a sudden diagnostic tests start coming down? This is not, he's starting with drugs. It's going to go across the board. But if big pharma is not making as much, the profit was corruptly put in. Now, if big pharma all of a sudden doesn't have this big profit margin, guess what they have to do? They have to start competing. They weren't competing before. They owned the market before. Now they're competing. They actually have to compete with other people. Well, guess what happens? All of a sudden now people are like, well, I wonder if there's other ways to get healthy out there. Next thing you know, pharmaceutical sales aren't as high as they were before because people start looking elsewhere. This is how the game works. So slowly, it is very possible that he is changing the system to the extent where, not that pharmaceuticals will go away necessarily, maybe over a long period of time they will, right? But they will no longer have their dominance, because right now they dominate across the board. They won't have their dominance anymore. And yes, this takes time. Do you realize some of the things that were accomplished in literally 2 years compared to, we've had what? How many presidents since maybe Kennedy, right? And none of them have done a thing, because guess what? They were all involved with pharmaceutical junk sales, corruption, and money. Okay? Now, I want to show you something here, because guess what? Yesterday, the sixth pharmaceutical company was charged in an ongoing criminal antitrust investigation. Let me take you to, wait a second. It's not just a website, it's the United States Department of Justice website. Let's go to that. So this is, let me bring this up. Oh, there we go. Sixth pharmaceutical company charged in ongoing criminal antitrust investigation. Taro Pharmaceuticals has been charged for conspiring to fix prices, allocate customers, and rig bids for generic drugs, the Department of Justice announced today. It's a 2-count felony charge filed in the U.S. District Court for Eastern District of Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, charging Taro USA with participating in 2 criminal antitrust conspiracies. Oh, conspiracy, look at that. Each with competing manufacturer of generic drugs and various executives. Right? Look at the money involved. The Antitrust Division deferred prosecution agreement resolving the charges against Taro USA, under which the company agreed to pay a $205 million criminal penalty and admitted that its sales affected by the charge conspiracies exceeded $500 million. That's a lot of money. That is a real lot of money. This is crazy. Now, I'm going to show you a random medication, okay? Because I want people, I saw somebody that said that they had to pay $18,000 for, I think it was like an RA injection that they had to give. I think it said every 8 weeks off the top of my head. Do you understand the insanity of what people are having to spend out of pocket to make themselves at least be alive? This is completely insane. Absolutely, completely insane. I'm glad for all of you that are off thyroid meds. That is awesome. Let me show you just some random prices, okay? And I'm not going to go deep into this because there's so many drugs. It's unbelievable. Let me go into some random ones. So this one is actually Nexium. Nexium is a member of the proton pump inhibitor drug class, commonly used for things like Barrett's esophagus, duodenal ulcer prophylaxis, erosive esophagitis, and others. Also used a lot of heart things. 20 milligrams is almost a $300 medication. Okay, you come down to here. There's an oral powder, over $300 for that, up to 40 milligrams. Let me just, and I'm literally, I have not looked these up. I'm just gonna literally go through and check these. Okay, some are cheaper, some are more expensive, but I just want to show you. I think I clicked on Cialis earlier because I was curious. Look at that, Cialis, 2.5 milligram tablet, $380. 10 milligram tablet for 30 tablets is $2,100. Right? Do you know what Cialis is, by the way? Cialis is a member of the impotence, erectile dysfunction drug. The erectile dysfunction drug is for a 30 tablets of 10 milligrams, upwards of $2,100. And yes, chemo is insanely. So let me just address this one because I am a guy. There are a lot of guys out there are dealing with things like erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction is a cardiovascular problem. That's simple. It's a cardiovascular problem. Now, I'm not saying that medication can't help. I totally get it. And for guys out there, as you get older, they don't want to play around with the system. They don't want to try to fix their cardiovascular system. So yes, they will take that. It's a cardiovascular problem. There's ways of fixing that. However, they know that guys want to get their groove on with their spouses or partners, and so they're charging upwards of $2,100 for this medication, which is completely insane because there's no way it actually costs that much. Let me go over. Let me check another couple of drugs. Let's hear some. I don't even know what these cost. I don't have them, so I don't follow them very closely. Cymbalta. Cymbalta is a member of the serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor SSRI drug class. It is commonly used for anxiety, back pain, chronic pain, and others. Cymbalta is a very well-known drug. Okay, here you go. 20 milligrams for 60 days, $487. Completely insane. Almost $500. Now, yes, I'm going to hear people say, well, my insurance covers it. Yeah, you pay for your insurance too, and it keeps going up. Let's see. Humira. Humira is really popular now. Let's talk about the complete insanity of Humira. A member of the anti-rheumatics, which is RA, right, drug class, which Humira is a dangerous medication. 10 milligrams, $5,800. 10 milligrams to 40 milligrams, depending on, for 2 kits. $5,800. I mean, look at that number. Completely insane. So, I'm not going to go crazy over those, but I think you get the point, right? Guess what? Humira does not cost $5,800 to make. I don't know the cost of the drug, but I'm assuming it's actually very inexpensive. You know what costs a lot of money? Marketing, salespeople, and lobbying. That's what costs a lot of money. It's completely insane. And then something else that I thought of while I was looking up this stuff was the fact that we now have also and it's not a disease, but I'm going to call it one just for the sake of what we're talking about here, because you've heard me talk about this a million times. We know the causes of it. But then you have autism, okay? Again, not a disease. I'm just using the word disease because some people out there don't know what it is yet. They haven't only been watching the show for so long. How does autism affect a family? Now, autism today is about 1 in 34 kids. Okay, 1 in 34 kids, roughly. I've heard anything from 1 in like 20 to 1 in 60. Okay, it's somewhere in that number. The most common number I hear is about 1 in 35, 1 in 36, something like that, right? So, autism. Did you know that autism literally destroys families? Because obviously it's children, and parents will do anything for their child. So they will literally sell off their entire everything, property, houses, you name it. They will sell off cars. They will live literally in poverty to take care of their child, and they will go absolutely bankrupt to do it for obvious reasons. They're trying to save their child. They're trying to do everything they possibly can, right? Yet it's the vaccine and the food system that did the job of creating the autistic child. So not only are you paying for pharma to do that, but then you're coming back around and you're a commodity to them, because now you're paying for every diagnostic test possible. You're paying for all the food sensitivity problems. You're paying for genetic testing, and it's not genetics. So sorry, anybody out there who's done genetic testing. You can do genetic testing all day long for autism, and it's not genetic. Autism is not genetic. It is not more diagnosed now because they have better diagnostic tests. That's all complete BS. It's the vaccines and it's the food system destroying the gut and killing the brain. That's what autism is. But keep in mind, we have families going bankrupt overnight because of autism. It adds to that 530,000 families every single year that go bankrupt because of the medical system. The number one, other than the warfare system, the military industrial complex, the medical industrial complex, the medical system pharmaceutical companies, vaccine companies, all of them across the board, probably number 2 from a number standpoint, literally destroy not only the world, but they destroy people's lives through injury, disease, and financial bankruptcy. It destroys families because finance obviously is a big thing in families. All right. So I am not going to, again, worship the President of the United States because that is incorrect, but I'm definitely going to applaud when the correct thing is done because it's important. This was a giant step forward, possibly, into taking down the system, or at least lessening their impact on politics. Because trust me, there is a lot of money in lobbyists in Washington that are pushing forward bills every single day that get drug companies loopholes to make more and more and more money. Just like vaccines, where they're completely non-liable for the destruction they create unless you go into a kangaroo court behind the scenes. This stuff is destroying families. So yes, something simple, something small like he did today, which doesn't seem like it's going to impact a lot of people, could drastically impact the world forever going forward when you allow, and by the way, allowing people to shop over state and country lines like Canada, because it's obviously technically local, or Mexico, changes the whole system. That's actually free market economics. So everyone's like, oh, we're in capitalism. No, we're not. We haven't been in capitalism for a long time. We were in essentially fascism, right? But we are actually headed towards real capitalism, or what we really should call it is free market capitalism. I don't even like saying capitalism because capitalism gets a really bad name because we have not been in capitalism. Free market capitalism, where you actually have to compete to get someone's business. You compete by being competitive in pricing, but also adding a quality service, more value than another person, so that people are willing to pay a certain amount of money to come to you because they're getting amazing value, and then adjust price. All right. That's how it works. That's how economies are supposed to work. And I will tell you, what he's doing right now with this stuff behind the scenes, you're going to see. It's so funny because most people think, okay, we're just going to raise profits. We're going to charge outrageous amounts of money. Like, we're going to charge $5,000 for a medication. And when we do that, we'll have a raging economy because there's so much more money involved. It's actually not true, because you're bankrupting people. If you actually get competitive with pricing, if you get competitive with the product and the service, you'll actually make more money because you'll actually sell more. I mean, that's science. That's economics, okay? So very important. Now, I want to add on to something with this, because this also is going to go into COVID, not necessarily tomorrow, but we're probably going to start looking at diseases a little differently. The reason I bring that up is because scientific fraud. Now, I am not going to talk about Fauci tonight, other than the fact that I don't need to go into him being moronic and, first of all, throwing a horrendous pitch, and I don't even call it a pitch. And it's so funny. For some of the things I post, which are pretty bold, I think I got the most hate on the fact that I said, don't trust a guy who can't throw a baseball. And yeah, I actually do mean that, right? Now, if you have somebody who is disabled, obviously I don't mean a man who is disabled. If you have a disability, obviously you have a biomechanical problem. You are not able to throw a baseball. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you take a grown man that can't throw a baseball properly, I have a trust problem. This guy who is Italian, who probably he should have thrown a baseball before, goes out there and looks like a complete, I'm not even going to say words, but then on top of that, sits in the stands next to, I think, his wife and somebody else, and they completely violate all the rules he talks about. I'm so glad this happened, because it really shows the complete moronic. I really actually start questioning. I don't think Fauci is actually a smart man. Now, he might be book smart, as in he memorized some stuff. Trust me, I'm a doctor. I know. You know how much memorization we did in school? There's a difference between memorizing a bunch of stuff to take a test versus then actually understanding how healthcare works and then getting somebody healthy. The guy works in the vaccine world. He doesn't even know what health is, right? But he can memorize stuff really well because I guarantee that's how he got through school, because that's how most doctors get through school, okay? There's a very small percentage that actually try to learn the material versus just get through the material. I know a lot of people, I know a lot of doctors, they'll all tell you the same thing, okay? So it's corruption. I don't need to go any farther into that. However, let's talk about scientific fraud, shall we? Now, I told everyone I have a love-hate relationship with Mike Adams of Natural News, but sometimes he has good stuff. And today he had a good article. It wasn't by him. It was one of his writers. But science fraud. Look at this. Whoops. Why is my... Let me bring my... my... my website is really, really, really zoomed in. So let me bring this down real quick. For some reason it did that. I don't know why. It was a lot. This one is basically, let me tell you the headline. Science fraud. Florida's Governor DeSantis calls for investigation into why people are testing positive for coronavirus. There we go. I don't know why they did that. So there's fraud. We now know there's fraud, and Governor DeSantis is actually going to be doing something about it. They're investigating why positives. Now, he even goes into down here, he goes into the fact that people were not even getting a test and it was coming back positive. All right? It was coming back positive. So this right here, for that to come back positive, so he talks about the, I'm going to highlight this for you. According to the reports, Governor DeSantis has asked the state's Department of Health to look into the situation further. There were mysterious positive results. He announced that it makes no sense whatsoever that people who were never even evaluated by a practitioner are now receiving anomalous positive test results that are being used by some to push for more lockdowns and mask wearing. For that to come back positive when there was no specimen submitted is problematic, DeSantis is quoted as saying. So I've heard it enough to be concerned about it. Now, I'm hoping that other governors and leaders will say something. I'm actually, and I again, DeSantis, there's things he does that I like. There's things that he does that I don't like. I'm very proud of our governor for standing up and saying these results are not correct. And on top of that, there's fraud going on, because that's what a leader does. A leader stands up and goes for the truth, not for politics. We need leaders. So I appreciate our governor doing that. I'm proud that he is making changes, and it looks like he is going down the direction of, hey, there's problems, and we're not shutting our state down. Now, I will tell you, I did hear an update regarding the Republican National Convention in Jacksonville, Florida, which is, there was some rumor behind the scenes that there might have been some plans to create havoc / disaster, and that's possibly why it was changed. So, just letting everyone know, okay? Now, here's some other interesting stuff. And I'm going into something tonight that's I talked about earlier, which is the flooding of China. And I'm going to show you some stuff because it's very, very important, because we're heading into possibly some false flags that I want to make you aware of. But first, let me show you this. The United Nations warns the Trump administration against using federal forces in Portland. So, President said, if this doesn't get handled, we're going to go in and we're going to handle it for you. Now, he's saying handle it first. He's not just bypassing them. He's basically saying if it doesn't get handled, then we're going to handle it for you. But the United Nations acting like they have any dominion over us. So, remember, the World Health Organization was disconnected from and defunded, or defunded, then disconnected from. It's very possible the United Nations is next. Hopefully it's next, along with National Trade Organization, because the United Nations does not have power over us. The United Nations is a globalist, deep state, cabal organization, right? They do not have power over us. So for them to say, we warn you against using federal forces. You don't have any dominion in this. You have no jurisdiction. Uh, we will do what we need to do in our own country. You stick to dealing with globalists, right? This is a problem. That means that we are probably having major issues behind the scenes. But also interesting is Secretary Pompeo. Let me go to the OAN network, one of our favorites. Secretary Pompeo calls for the new alliance of democratic nations against China. So they're basically rallying, all right, because China, which we're going to lead into here in a minute, China's got some problems, okay? We must admit a hard truth that should guide us in the years and decades to come, that if we want to have a free 21st century and not the Chinese century of which Xi Jinping dreams, the old paradigm of blind engagement with China simply won't get it done, he stated. We must not continue it and we must not return to it. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to clarify something because I watched the video last night that I'm not going to go into right now because it was an hour and a half. And it got shared to me at 11 o'clock last night when I was going to bed, and I decided I'd start watching it. And the first 10 minutes were so compelling that I ended up staying for the whole hour and a half. I didn't get to bed till about 12:30 and then got up early. That sometimes happens to me because I get compelled to go watch something. It is very possible, again, I'm going to state this, that Xi is actually working with Trump behind the scenes as well as Putin to take down the deep state cabal. So when we say China, we're not actually talking about China. Consider there's two different Chinas. There's China, that is the Chinese people that are good, possibly with Xi being involved with them, trying to help his country. And then there's the China that is the deep state cabal, which is communism. That's what they're going for ultimately. It's communism. Communism is their form of running the planet or creating this whole thing. But there's two different things. Now, someone mentioned gold, which I'm going to go to in a minute, or after towards the end of the show, because I am going to talk about gold tonight. Is yes, there is very, very strong speculation that the United States, Russia, and China, the three superpowers, along with many other states like India and others, have the gold or have a lot of the gold. That's what I want to believe in because that's really good. But can I guarantee that? No, I can't guarantee it. But there's a lot of speculation. And guess what? Judy Shelton is going to ride her horse in, and hopefully we get that handled, okay? Somebody wanted to know the video. It's called the Q Timeline. Maybe I'll post it. It's fantastic. It's an hour and a half. I get a lot of videos, guys. I don't get to watch all the videos because I only have so much time to watch the videos. So I try to be very efficient with my video watching. What's up with Kevin Shipp? I think Kevin Shipp is a psyop, or he's working. I don't know. Couldn't tell you, but I know there's a problem there. Now, let me show you a video here of China and what's really going on potentially with China, and I think it's very important that we watch it. So it's about 2 minutes. Let me show you what this is. This is gonna take us out of China controlling us, but it's also gonna lead into my next thing, which is I talked about today, false flags in China. So let me first take you to the video though, so you can see that. Okay, here we go.
Vaccine research from biotech firms, but that was in California and Massachusetts. Why target this consulate in Houston?
Right. Well, the Chinese have used their embassy in Washington and their consulates throughout our country to conduct propaganda and espionage operations. Houston is a major industrial base known for aeronautics and energy and manufacturing, and I'm sure that China is trying to target the Houston private sector for collection, for espionage. You know, the Houston is also the home to GH America, a wholly owned Chinese subsidiary which purchased 100,000 acres of land in Valverde County so that they could spy on Laughlin Air Force Base. And I'm quite sure that the FBI has a number of cases investigating against Chinese espionage in the Houston area. Those probably won't come to light because they're classified unless there's legal action that's taken. But I think this was the first step in eliminating that threat that China poses.
So there was a bonfire in the yard of that embassy or the consulate that was being shut down. Do you think valuable evidence is gone, or do you think by the time you're shutting down an embassy, you already have a lot of the details?
Well, they certainly use electronic communication, I would say, for some of their most sensitive details. I can only speculate about the things that they're burning. But for sure that it's going to be a time of disruption for China, because all of their consulate officers who are out conducting propaganda and espionage and other things are going to have to go home in 72 hours. And that means that they can't do that work anymore in Houston. And either it's not going to happen or somebody else is going to have to try to step in and do it.
So what does it mean for the relationship between the U.S. and China? Because, you know, you think back, it wasn't really that many months ago. We were on our way to a new trade deal. You know, it seemed like some of the fights, at least over intellectual property, over unfair trade practices, were getting resolved. Now, that seems like it was a million years ago.
I was muted. So what I wanted to point out with that was that you see, obviously, the Houston thing was happening, but you also see that they own a lot of our land. Okay? They own a ton of our land. I actually think that President Trump is working with Xi behind the scenes to take out the deep state cabal that is running China. Now, this brings me into the next thing. I posted today regarding the possible flooding, all right, of China. Did you know Wuhan is actually flooding? People are saying, well, why is Wuhan flooding? Well, they're saying that they have a lot of rain over there. Okay, I get it. They have a lot of rain. However, they've had a lot of rain before. Now, what's actually happening is I think they're trying to destroy evidence. The other problem is, out of nowhere, the dam is having a lot of problems, and they're actually allowing it to break. I want to take you into some of the actual Asian papers and what they're showing, because they're openly admitting that there's a problem over there. So let me take you through these, and then I have actual video to show you on what this looks like if this dam goes. All right, so let me show you the first article, which is an article. The deluge tests limits of Three Gorges Dam. Now, this talks about, this is basically just a straightforward article, okay? Let's see here. China's Three Gorges Dam is being put to more and sterner tests as torrential rain pounds provinces along the upper reaches of the Yangtze River, with all its major tributaries already in spate. During the past weekend, Yangtze's second flood this year struck the world's largest hydroelectricity dam, spanning Asia's longest river, with peak flow of more than 60,000 cubic meters per second. Per second. Latest operation statistics about the dam from the official website of the state-owned Three Gorges Group. The dam's operators show the mass flow rate at the western approaches of the dam reservoir halved to 30,000 cubic meters per second late on Monday. Now, I'm going to take you to a video, all right? I want to show you what this potentially looks like, okay? Now, this just shows the dam right here, obviously, but I'm going to take you to the video because there's a 100-meter wall of water right here. Okay, look at this. The video estimates collapse of dam would release 100-meter wall of water racing at 100 kph, okay, kilometers per hour. I want to take you to this video. Now, this video is very telling. Let me expand this. It's in Chinese, but you're just going to see what it plays out, okay? Watch this narration. Obviously, as this goes down, watch how the water spreads. Okay. So that's a cartoon narration, obviously done by computer graphics of, and that's from the web. That's from an actual. That's Taiwan news. That is not some random. I'm going to take you back to this. This is Taiwan news. This is not some random website out there. Okay, Taiwan news official. This was actually released today. I don't know what time zone there. It says 13:20 there. Obviously, I'm not going to go into the whole math of what time that is. Today, meaning they know this is a problem, and they don't think it's going to happen. They know it's going to happen. And keep in mind, this didn't just happen. This isn't just a coincidence. This happened at the time. Now, I could not find the video tonight. I'm going to keep looking for it. Where there's actually on one of the Federal Reserve notes, I don't know if it's the 5, 10, 20, 100, whatever. There's actually, if you fold it a certain way, it shows a great flood. Do you remember all the movies that they showed where there was a massive flood or massive tidal wave that comes into a city? I think they showed New York City most of the time. Now, I don't know how that would occur, if that would occur. However, they have said, I have told you in the show many times before, they have said that the deep state is willing to do anything necessary to keep control of the planet. This is a planetary battle. This is not just an American-Chinese battle. If that goes, there is potentially upwards of 300 million people in the way of that flooding. And that's not just water seeping up. They said 100-meter possible wave high going at 100 kilometers per hour. All right? And they can set off, but I would not put it past the deep state to set off bombs underneath this thing, just like they did 9/11, where they detonated the buildings. If you think they're afraid of taking people out, absolutely not. You have August, September, October, 3 months before this election, right? They will not hesitate. So the biggest thing here is, and Q talks about it, is we can't be in fear. If something happens somewhere, something happens. Obviously, I feel very horrible for the Chinese people because the people in the way of that water are innocent civilians. And even though they're not Americans, I have a care and passion and empathy for human life, whether it's Chinese or Indian or Middle Eastern, doesn't matter to me, right? The Chinese people have not done anything wrong. But this could take out, and this is not fear. This is not telling you to get all scared and stressed. I'm just letting you know what could happen because it could happen. All right. Now, I'm going to show you something else. There's two other ones. One is a video. I'm not going to show you the whole video. It's 16 minutes long. I'm going to show you a couple of hopefully clips or still frames of the video. The first one is an article, which is the Epoch Times, a very good media outlet. Thousands trapped as Chinese authorities discharge storm waters into villages, submerging them. They're already flooding out, all right? They're already flooding out. Now, this is the video I want to show you. Okay. This premiered 2 days ago. Again, I am not going to go through this whole thing. It's 16 minutes long. But I'm going to try to take you. Here is, whoops, I'm going to try to get to a map here, okay? Here's the map. Okay. Here's the map. This shows the main river and the gorges. The gorges is about in the middle. You can see a little rectangle there, right? You can see a little rectangle. Do you now realize how massive this problem is? Because that rectangle stands in the middle of the country. And that water goes everywhere. Okay? Now, let me see if I can take you to... I'm going to take you just some still shots, okay? And I'm going to try to play some of these, but I don't even fully know.
Flooding across everywhere China's growing its grains.
This is showing where some of the dam has been broken already.
Turning into massive rivers in the mountains, trying to discharge as much water as they can.
Now I'm going to randomly go through places. There's another one, massive landslide. Okay, that's 2 days ago. Remember, guys, you are not given real Chinese media. No one is showing you this. Okay. I'm just going to take you through some random stuff here, and hopefully I catch some stuff. Collapse in output followed by slow recovery. And again, I haven't even looked through this whole thing, so I'm literally just showing you the best things I can find. There is the dam at night. And it actually shows it in a middle spot there where they're actually having major problems with it. This is also a shot. There's water coming out. That's where the problem actually is. Let's see. Here's another one. Again, there is the basin and showing how this affects everything. And then you have all these tributaries right here. They would literally flood the middle of this damn country. All right. So I think that's probably good enough. I don't know if I have to go through all this. There's the water system, the waterway. I'm probably going to watch this whole thing later because I'm very curious about it now. Here, I don't know Chinese, so I can't help you there. Here is some footage of flooding happening. Okay. And again, this is not to scare everyone. I want you to be informed, okay? There was a radar picture here a second ago. There's the radar. All right. Now keep in mind, they can control weather. They always have. More flooding here. More flooding there. So look, there's flooding. This is discharge of the flood water. This is before it even breaks, folks. All right. There's flooding from the breaks. So I'm just trying to show you here what is actually occurring because they're not going to show you what's actually happening over there. And this is obviously extremely problematic. I'm going to probably watch this either tonight or this weekend because I want to know more about it. And I know there's narration to it underneath, so I'm going to learn more about it. But this is a travesty. It is terrible that this is occurring. Anybody said whose website? This is just YouTube. What I'll do is I'll post the YouTube link afterwards for anybody who watches it. It's 17 minutes long. So it's not that long. It's got 53,000 views already. It's going fast. It was 2 days ago that they posted it, but people are starting to wake up to what's actually happening. I don't know how many deaths are projected. I'm just knowing that they've said upwards of 300 million people could be affected by it. And when you're dealing with a 100-meter wave, there is no getting out of it. There is no hopefully batten down the hatches. It's called game over for whoever's in the way, and they are trying to take out people. This is false flag time, folks. I've been telling you this for a long period of time. I don't like it just like you don't like it. And I'm talking intensely about it because, one, I want everyone to pray. I want everyone to put their positive vibes, thoughts out there for the Chinese people. I don't want to lose any more humans on this planet to this stupid behind-the-scenes war of the deep state and the cabal. There's no reason for this. These are precious, innocent lives of adults and children. I hope that this is stopped. I hope that it doesn't even happen in the first place. But keep in mind, you're not given Chinese news because they're a communist country and the deep state runs them. Okay? We need to push our positive vibes out there, not only think for ourselves and hope and pray for America. We need to pray for the Chinese people. Because if this thing goes, big problems. All right? Now, before I take some questions tonight, two more things. Does everyone remember Fred Deshevsky, who I speak to? I think I'm going to have him on again next week because there's some crazy stuff going on with gold and silver. He is amazing. I actually talked to him today on the phone. I am getting more investments. Let's just say that, okay? I want to show you something here, okay? This is actually from Praying Medic. Gold and silver on the rise. Silver went up like $2, $4 in like within a week or something like that. Here is gold. Check out gold. Okay. This is today. All right. We're up to 1900 in gold. Now, does that mean it's going to stay there? Not necessarily. We'll have a little bit of movement. But guess what? As the dollar shrinks because of stimulus, gold goes up. Where is true money? Gold and silver. That is true money. How can you guarantee yourself to be taken care of? Gold and silver. And yes, I practice what I preach, meaning I was on the phone with Fred today, getting more information, getting ready to put more money into real, hard, solid gold and silver. Okay, that's important, very important. So I want you guys all. I will again. I'm going to have Fred, I think, on probably next week, maybe the week after. I have a bunch of interviews coming up. This week was crazy, and I was trying to gather some organization, so you didn't hear from a lot of people this week at all. Next week we'll probably have some more people on. But gold and silver, this is what we have to do. Okay. Now, here's the last one. I'm going to show you this. This is for fun, guys. Okay. Now, don't panic and don't freak out. There is a new, I haven't seen this one yet. There is a new Q map out that kind of spells it out a little better and a little differently. Now, when I said don't freak out, I'm literally meaning don't freak out, because when I show you stuff like this, everyone gets all freaked out because there's things on here that are not exactly of this world. Okay. You don't have to understand it all. I got it, but I want to show you anyway because I think it's interesting. Is everyone ready to see another Great Awakening map? This one's pretty cool, and here we go. Let me show you, okay? Now, what I'm going to do when I show you this is I'm going to let questions be on this. Well, you can ask me anything tonight, but I'm going to leave this to the end, and people can ask me questions about this, and I'll do my best. I don't understand all of it, okay? But I'm going to let people ask questions on this because I think it's pretty cool, okay? And obviously, I'll take healthcare questions, etc. All right? Here we go. Okay. I'm going to let you take a second to look at that for a moment. Okay. So level 1 obviously is some stuff that we've seen before, okay? I can't really make this one expand anymore because it's a Twitter picture and I've kind of blown it up as much as I can. So here you go. The top, we have things like vaccines, false flags, war on drugs, dark web, the Matrix, red pill, Q, CIA, Hollywood, maritime law, flat earth, different stuff like that, okay? Level 2, we have things like crop circles, reptilians and Draco, moon bases, anti-gravity, Tesla, secret alliance, the law of one, Antarctica, underground ET ruins. So I've gone through some of this. And then as you go deeper, there's some more. Okay, I'm reading as much as I can. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing. We'll put a link in here. Level 3 is holistic healing, channeling. Some people understand that. The higher mind, fasting, excuse me, DNA activation, remote viewing, as in Edgar Casey. All right. Sacred geometry, the great solar flash. Level 4 goes down to Tibetan Buddhism, higher realms, law of attraction, telepathy. And some of these stuff I haven't even looked up, so it is what it is. Enlightenment. Okay. Don't yell at me if there's something on here you don't agree with, or there's not something on here you think should be on here. I didn't make it. I'm just going over it because it's very fascinating and there is a lot to this. Okay, and then level 5. I'll answer all the level 5s, or I'll say all the level 5s. Okay, if you can't read it, I'm sorry. You'll have to check it out afterwards. I'll post the link up. Okay, I can't post the link now the way Facebook works right now. I can't post the link while I'm actually live, so I have to post it afterwards. Okay. Level 5. Love and light of the one infinite creator, God. Escape samsara, cyclic rebirth. You guys can take that for what it is. End to all suffering. The mystery of universal creation and return to source or God, basically. Okay. Okay. Who has questions? I'm not going to leave it there because you guys can't see it necessarily. Oh, I took my hat off. Let me put my hat back on. Who has questions? I'm happy to. Let me see if I can post this right now while you're asking questions, and I'll answer the best I can. Excuse me. My voice held out for the most part tonight. Okay, let's see. I will answer. He said gold and silver. I've never done anything. I don't know what people are talking about there. I'll answer questions, but I'm not going to answer ridiculousness, okay? I'm going to see. I put the link in. So I put the map in. I'm also going to put in the gold and silver website right now. So I just put those 2 links in, okay? Good. Okay. What are the questions? What is the site to order from Fred? I just put that up. uscoincapital.com. The gold and silver, uscoincapital.com. I just talked to Fred today. He is probably my most trusted source. I don't really talk to anybody else about gold and silver, okay? I'm going to watch some video that Allegra sent. Yes, I will watch that probably tonight. What causes UTI infections? Oh, that's a good one. Bacterias, but typically it's because your gut bacteria is off. So you kill off some bacteria, but you actually have to put in good bacteria, okay? Prebiotics and probiotics, I'm going to tell you most of them are not legitimate. Okay? Okay. I put the link up there, okay? Nothing bad happens to people who can't buy gold and silver. And by the way, if you think you can't buy gold and silver, you're wrong. Even if you don't have a lot of money, you don't have to buy a lot of gold and silver. If you have questions on gold and silver, and even if you think that you don't have enough money, don't just not answer. So this is the thing. If you think you're in a position where you can't do something because you don't think you have enough, don't think that way. Okay, call anyway to see if they can help you. You know, there's bags of basically junk silver that's just little pieces and coins that you can get for like $20 here and there. That's just as important sometimes as people who can invest thousands of dollars. So don't think you're out, okay? Do I practice grounding? I don't practice it necessarily, but I do go out barefoot and I do go to the beach. So yes, I practice grounding in that standpoint, and I love grounding it. But it helps relax me, okay? Because I'm around a lot of EMFs a lot of times too. Good. Where do the Masons and Templars fall in the chart? Masons and Templars mostly are deep state cabal. They're at the top. Well, they're kind of all the way through, but you know what I mean. Okay. What Kenrola products do I own or recommend? I don't own them all. I own the pyramid and I own the necklace, and those are really good. But Ken and Norbert, the two I trust on EMF protections. I don't go with anybody else. Let's see. Looking at the questions. The USA dams. Maybe Hoover Dam, but I haven't heard anything about it yet. Okay. What causes frequent kidney infections? So kidneys, here you go about kidneys. Kidneys, when you have kidney problems, even if it's kidney stones, I do find them mostly to be parasites, okay? Parasites in kidneys all the time. Somebody's asking me a trick question that I will not answer because it's a tricky question. Not because I can't answer it, but it's not, you'd have to talk a whole hour on that. Natural sunscreen, they're okay, but do your best do your best not to be in the sun all the time. Tucker Carlson and the flying object. I think that they're setting people up for a false flag of some kind with alien technology first, and then you get disclosure. Again, guys, I do believe that there are extraterrestrial life out there, that it's not just all angels and demons. And so if you think, if you, the question is, do I believe the ETs are out there? Yes, I do. I've read it from so many sources at this point. I've watched CIA. I've watched FBI. I've watched military intelligence people all talk about the same exact thing. They're not all getting together and calling bullshit on this. They're legitimate. You can go watch Dr. Stephen Greer. Go watch all these different things. You can watch it on Joe Rogan. There's military people that have come out who are legitimate, reputable military people. There are UFOs. There is alien life. It is not just all angels and demons. I'm sorry if you think that way. We are not the only things in this universe. That is mathematically impossible. Okay. Ankylosing spondylitis is too much toxins in the body, which is being calcified. and it becomes a problem. You have to actually break the body. You have to break the calcifications down over a period of time. Good. Let's see. EMF protection, Ken Rolla, and then Norbert. I'm going to have Norbert on next week as well. Probably Ken pretty fast too. Ken will be back. Let's see. I'll put the YouTube link in right now while questions are rolling. I'm going to put that in right now. The China YouTube link is what I'm putting there, okay? There, I just put the China YouTube link there, okay? I hope that helps. Let's see. I'm trying to read, but there was a really long one. If you have a really long question on health, you have to get with me on the website because I can't answer the whole question necessarily. JFK Jr. 80 to 90% based on CIA and FBI that insiders who are retired now believe that 80-90% yes. Okay. The link should be showing up right now. So if you have a problem, they'll be up. Okay. Let's see. I put the gold link in there. Okay. Thyroid help. I help thyroid people all day long. You got to go here though. I can only help you through here. I can't help you from, answering questions back and forth. I know if you have a thyroid problem, I will help you. If you have a health problem, I will help you. You have to go here. I'm working with people every single day, and the protocols are being worked on. Don't worry, I've not forgot them. It just takes time to put them together, and they will be up very fast. Okay. Let's see. Behold a pale horse. Interesting question. I didn't understand the whole thing. Only a couple more minutes because we're really long tonight. How do I think the China situation will impact the world? I think it could impact the world massively. Possible economic crash, possible food shortage. I'm still researching into that. But yes, there's definitely problems, okay? Let's see. Should you roll your IRA and 401k into silver and gold? I cannot answer that question because I can't really give you financial advice. Talk to Fred at US Coin Capital. Guys, and by the way, I'm just letting you know, I don't actually make any money off you guys going to US Coin Capital. I am doing it because I believe in it. So just letting you know that. I'm not sending you there because I make anything back, even though I technically should probably. But I just love it. Fred is fantastic. Fred is very smart, very educated, and I believe in a product or service. I believe that you should benefit from that product and service. It's very hard today to get someone honest in the gold, silver world, okay? If you have money in investments, it's not going to just disappear, guys. They're not going to steal. If they steal all your money from me, guess what? They're going to steal all my money from me too. So stop panicking about your 401ks. Stop panicking about money in the bank, etc. Because guess what? If they do it to you, they'll do it to me as well, right? I have all my investments, but I also still have money in the bank, right? I am not running to the bank every weekend and pulling tons of money out. I don't do it. So don't worry about that, okay? Robbie, I appreciate that. Please also learn on your own research too, okay? If the link didn't come through, I'll push them back out when I get off. Maybe there's a problem with there because I already posted 3 links, okay? Let's see. Toe walkers. Toe walkers is typically heavy metal problems. That's what I typically see. I can help that. Let's see. Is there a direct link? Chronic eczema. Eczema, I have never seen eczema without parasites involved. Ever. Just so you know. Not to say it can't happen, but I've never seen it without. But yes, once you fix the gut and get rid of the toxins and the parasites, you'll be good. What's the reason I dropped the A? Because when you say America, like so America like this, it's kind of the redneck way of saying America. It's just a joke. It's America like that, okay? And I'm from the north and I'm redneck, so I can wear that. Iridology is a really cool way of doing it. I just prefer muscle testing because I get more accurate results. I'm not trained in iridology, but iridology is a great field. Hey, I like anything mostly natural and holistic. So anybody who is helping somebody naturally to get better, I am happy. Okay. A friend of mine actually just sent over. She started working with me 2 weeks ago, I think, and he sent over a picture of parasites. Actually, I got about 10 pictures of parasites sent me today from various people. Some of them really gross, some of them interesting, okay? Ooh, I am helping an 8-year-old toe walker, Heather. Thank you. That's awesome. I get so excited I love helping kids. Like, let me tell you, purpose, it's amazing to be able to help kids. Psoriasis is like eczema, yes. I've never seen eczema without parasites, ever. Tinnitus, a lot of times, is heavy metals. Got to get heavy metals out of the brain. Hair loss, thyroid, and minerals. Yeah. Sorry, if you're a guy and you have hair loss, I haven't fully figured that one out yet. But females, thyroid and minerals, usually always. Quinn. That's right, Quinn. We're helping Quinn. Quinn is awesome. Couple more. Let's do a couple more and then we'll head out. And we'll call it a night. Let's see. What do I think will happen with Twitter? I don't know. I have a few different guesses on that. I'm not going to say yet because it's very possible Twitter was already taken over. All parasites treated the same? No, they're not. Nope. They're not all treated the same. Ooh, the Mandela effect. I'm going to have to do Mandela effect in a different show because that's a deep one to go into. Yes, there's definitely Mandela effect. Mandela effect has to do with timelines. Don't get me started. Now you're going to get me fired up. And I can't go all night tonight. Mandela effect has to do with timelines. Let me tell you, if you don't believe in timelines, multiverses, and ETs, then you don't understand the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect, yes, big time. Supporting thyroid. Yes, I support thyroids all the time. Thyroid is easy, guys. Thyroid is actually really easy. Fibromyalgia, yes. Fibromyalgia is an autoimmune garbage pail diagnosis. We fix that. What about, somebody's asking about parasites again. We all have, yes, 90+% of the country has parasites because of what the pharmaceuticals and the agricultural companies have done to our food system. Okay? Yes, binded and senile. Do we vaccinate our dog? No. My dog we got our dog, we rescued our dog, our latest dog. Our previous dog passed away. He was not vaccinated. Our last dog we got, he had to have the first round of shots or we can't get him out of the pound. So we let those do it. But I will tell you, the moment we got our dog now, we immediately detoxed him out from the vaccines as best we could. And he's doing great. He never had a problem to begin with, but yes. But no, we don't add any vaccinations to our animal. Okay. How do you rev up the metabolism in senior women? You have to fix the hormones. You got to fix the endocrine system. Guys, the endocrine system is so important. I don't know if, let's see. I always tell you I'm going to get off and then I keep talking because you guys ask such interesting questions and I have to help you because if I don't help you, I don't sleep as well. So if you, especially women out there, okay, women out there specifically, yes, guys too, but especially women, if you are having weight issues, if you are having stress issues, if you are having moodiness issues, anxiety, up and down, whatever, right? My wife talks about this all the time. This is one of my books. I know it looks weird. It's called Practical Organotherapy, right? This was given to me by my wife. It was a gift. This is the third edition from 1922, right? 1922. And this is Dr. Henry Harrower. And Dr. Henry Harrower is the work that I use. Henry Harrower solved all endocrine systems a long time ago with whole food organ nutrition. And this is how I fix women and men with their endocrine problems. Endocrine problems, the biggest ones and biggest endocrine problems today are typically your thyroid and adrenal situations because of stress, but also your endocrine system can be everything from your hypothalamus to your anterior and posterior pituitary, to your pineal gland, down to your thyroid, to your adrenal glands, to your heart. Yes, I consider heart to be an endocrine organ, all the way down to testicles, ovaries, same thing. Testicles in men, ovaries in women, and uterus also breast tissue as well. Breast tissue is considered, I would consider it an endocrine organ. But this is basically how I fix stuff. Okay, I fix that. And when I say fix stuff, I just apply the right and proper nutrition. And then from a chiropractic standpoint, I apply the proper adjustments to the human body with what I understand through muscle testing, finding out what toxins are in your body. And then I get your food right, because guess what? If you don't get your food right, you're not going to heal the proper way. Your body has to be able to heal, right? So I use this, lots of other books. If you can think of something that you might have an issue with, we've helped it in our office. It's kind of that simple, honestly, okay? So, okay, if you have issues, I will be happy to answer simple questions health related, but if you have deeper questions and you actually need help, obviously you got to go to the website, and I help people every day from across the world. I help people from, I think, basically almost every state at this point, and I help people in several different countries now, Australia, UK, you name it. So I can do it from anywhere, not a big deal, no problem. Guys, I love you all. Yes, I muscle test long distance. We're going to go into that at some point. I'll put a timeline on that tomorrow with my wife. My wife and I will do it at some point soon, okay? Good, guys. I'm going on almost an hour and a half on this Friday night, okay? So if you have questions, let me know. We'll do the best to answer those. If you need help, noblepatriothealth.com. You guys have a blessed, wonderful evening. And as always, go have some fun this weekend, de-stress, relax, but most of all, serve and help somebody. No, there's no such thing as food allergies. Yes, there are, but no, there aren't. It's a yes-no question. If we get the gut fixed, the food allergies go away. Okay, that was the last question I saw from Susan, so I wanted to help you. Guys, I am going to go to sleep, and I'm going to sleep in. You know what sleeping in means? It means that when I let my wife sleep in as much as possible, because she works very hard and I want her to get rest. So I let her sleep in as long as she wants to. And even though I try to sleep in, usually my daughter wakes me up at about 7 a.m. So I get up and I go hang with her and I do some reading while she's doing her stuff. And so my sleeping in is I will be up in about 8 hours. Well, actually 7 hours, because I probably won't go right to bed. So anyway, now we're just having fun. Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network. Love you all. Take good care of yourself. Be well. And good night, noble patriots. Take care of your families. Bye-bye.